Steven is different. He isn't scary. But there are some things. His smile, his eyes. Sometimes, he looks like an alien wearing human skin. But with the such kind soul that he has, one is able to overlook those differences, even if they are painfully obvious. What if Steven Universe and the Crystal Gems actually looked like aliens? This is a question that is starting to take the internet by storm. Or at least everyone who still gets Steven Universe in their algorithm. And that's because TikTok artist Fat Pigeon has been exploring this concept through photo bashing, producing several viral videos that reinterprets the characters and some of the events of the series into a story that has a more horror aesthetic. The gist of it being that gems sport more alien features, but utilize their shapeshifting to appear more human. Steven, as a young boy who's half human and half gem, still learning about his powers and everything that he's capable of, naturally has a more human appearance than the gems, but still looks a bit off. And with that lack of mastery over shapeshifting, he can't hide those features super well. He sticks out from both races. He doesn't look quite like a human or a gem. A fun spin on the original premise, where you never would have guessed that Steven was an alien until he takes off his shirt or morph into a mobile cat cafe. But I think what draws a lot of people in about this concept, evident by what became the most popular video in the series thus far, is that Steven and the gems haven't changed. They're the same people. They just look more like aliens. And because of that, humans are not as comfortable around gems. In this video, you can tell that a part of Connie is unsettled by Steven, but she tries to push through it because she sees that he's a good person, and that he means well. It's interesting seeing a version of Connie who isn't as endeared by the gems. It really makes you wonder, would she still become the same Connie who sword trains under Pearl, becoming not only a crystal gem, but an ambassador of Earth? Would she still end up pursuing a relationship with Steven? Or would she end up keeping Steven at arm's length, still hanging out with him, but a part of her doesn't know if it's out of fear? Or, like Greg, would she be able to push through it, truly accepting Steven for who he is, learning to become comfortable around gem kind, and living out her arc as intended? These videos have inspired other interpretations with the same premise and style, leaning into the uncanny valleyness of it all. And really, this is far from the first time someone's made a more grounded horror AU of Steven Universe, but I think it's the first time people have really thought about how the character dynamics and story might change in this kind of world, including me! As far as we can tell, gems aren't that far off from the Na'vi in Avatar. Clearly alien due to their pigmentation, height, and cat-like features, but all around, they generally have human faces. Their eyes, noses, mouths, and even haircuts, they generally look like tall humans who painted themselves for a music festival, more than they look like beings beyond our human comprehension. The gems give that exact same energy, the exceptions being some of the fusions and oddballs like the pebbles or walls on Homeworld. Why the hell did the diamonds make you? This was just being extra. This was a waste of resources. Come on. I hope these guys can shapeshift because now that they're free, the diamonds have set them up for failure. Gems are generally just tall women with jewelry on their body who look like they signed up for a Pretty Patty collab at the Krusty Krab. And sure, some of them have weird hairstyles, but so do we, and that enabled Steven Universe to tell an unconventional alien story. It was never a secret that Steven and the gems are aliens, unless your name was Steven, and while the gems weren't super integrated into society, at least before Greg came into the picture, they never kept their distance because people were afraid of them. Instead, it was a self-imposed isolation, which probably had a little bit to do with Rose's residual guilt over being a diamond, but also more complex things like how gems outlive humanity. They wanted to be their protectors, while also having nothing to do with them. But if we put this under a darker lens, suddenly I think the conditions of their isolation would change, and it wouldn't be their call. Instead of being attracted to the gems, the residents of Beach City would be terrified of them, and anyone who hangs out with them would be seen as a sketchy weirdo. Which means Greg and Vidalia would be socially outcast. And I think Greg getting Rose pregnant would be a huge scandal. Instead of the vibes being, "My man," they would be, "Greg, what is wrong with you? How could you smash that? You don't know what her alien biology could do to you. What if she put eggs in you? What if she..." Why are you smiling? Greg's bad reputation would also have a domino effect. Barely anyone would want to go to the car wash, with most of Greg's customers being tourists, and Greg would end up in a spot where he feels like he has to prove the gems are innocent, that they're here to protect everyone. And while the gems don't care to win over anyone's approval, they'd still be annoyed when defeating a corrupted gem isn't met with gratitude, but instead, hostility. That the corrupted gems wouldn't mess with anyone if the gems weren't here at all. And Steven wouldn't grow up as the weird kid that everyone loves. Instead, I think Beach City would look at him just like how the diamonds Rose did, believing that he's Rose masquerading as a new identity. I don't think he'd grow up friendless though. Unless this is a world where Onion is aggressively normal, he'd still kick it with Steven. And I believe the cool kids would also have his back. I don't think they'd really change in this world. They'd still be rebellious, so Steven and the gang being outcast would only endear them. But also, if Vidalia got socially ostracized back in the day, then I think the cool kids would already approach Steven with an open mind. They would have mastered the art of not judging a book by its cover. Because of Sour Cream's mother, they have a great frame of reference of how that could negatively impact someone who's not even a part of the marginalized that's affected, just someone who saw them for who they were and had no qualms sticking up for them. Beach City would grow to embrace Steven over time, because he's just so great. They can't help but to have a soft spot for him. Yet, they never really dropped their prejudice against gems, constantly trying to convince Greg to take Steven out of the temple and have him live somewhere directly in town amongst full-fledged humans. I also think with the humans keeping a closer eye on gems, we could pull from another popular trope in alien movies and finally involve the government. Their absence in the main series was definitely a calculated choice, not wanting to get caught up on the typical alien on Earth stuff, but I think it'd be fun to speculate how their involvement would impact the events of the series. Would they straight up ban the crystal gems from the city after the Lapis incident? Would they try to force them to live somewhere else after Peridot and Jasper come to Earth, as the boardwalk ended up as collateral damage? Would they have a secret plan for if the crystal gems turned on them? Ronaldo and the like collecting tech behind their back that they ultimately end up putting to use after Aquamarine and Topaz go around abducting humans. If the humans were actually able to fight back, how would that change the trajectory of the story? And if they were never able to overlook those differences, then could we assume that Little Homeworld would never become a thing? Making Don't Judge a Book by its cover a bigger part of Steven Universe's themes actually has the potential to significantly impact the story. And by the end of the series, Beach City might be the only ones who are accepting of the gems, meaning the government and the rest of the world still has their eye on them and are just waiting for them to mess up so they have an excuse to raise hell. And if they found out about the human zoo, oof, they're definitely going to think the gems are plotting to abduct them. All in all, it's refreshing to see Steven Universe create popular trends like this in 2026. The show's fandom is alive and well, and I can't wait to see it explode after Lars of the Stars premieres. Eventually. This really feels like something that could keep growing with different interpretations, and I wouldn't be surprised if, sooner than later, this starts branching off to other series, like Adventure Time. How freaky does the Candy Kingdom actually look? And with that said, I want to know what you guys think about all this. How do you feel about Steven Universe explored under this horror aesthetic? How do you feel about this horror AU? And how do you think the concept of the gems looking more alien would impact the story? Or do you think it wouldn't impact the story? Let us know in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going over on Twitter and Instagram by giving me a follow at OstricVox and at Roundtable Vids. Support the Roundtable for just $1 over at Patreon, and if you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Peace!
What we do here is go back.
Need something to throw on while you draw, study, or sleep? Roundtable Rewind's got you covered. So why not take a stroll down memory lane and subscribe?
No one can tell me what to do.
See you there.